Victor Henry, man, it's good to get you on the show. First thing is, before we get into all the fight stuff, you know, are you doing acting on the side?
Nah, have you seen this face? It's for radio.
It's for radio. Hey, but
I've
I
um
saw something that you were doing something.
I've done
Oh,
stunt work
okay.
for a couple movies, but
Okay.
nothing too much where it puts my face on camera.
What is the stunt work like?
It's pretty cool. The first movie that I did was for one of Josh Barnett's friends,
Mm.
and for Coat Wolf. It hasn't come out yet, but you spend all day on set dressed as a ninja, playing nothing, doing nothing, and then all of a sudden they need you on set doing backflips. So that was interesting. The other movie I did was Pandemic on Netflix, and
Oh,
same
okay.
thing, except I have a bunch of makeup on where I look all messed up because they threw like fake blood and all sorts of stuff that's sticky on my face, and you just wait there for hours, and then they need you, and then you go there for hours, So it's all right.
Hey, with that pandemic, isn't it kind of eerie how that like debuted on Netflix and then like maybe a week later or 2 weeks later, the coronavirus outbreak happened?
Well, nah, I mean, I did this movie a long time ago.
But I think it was it on
Yeah,
Netflix for a
so
while?
yeah, it's been on Netflix for a long time. Yeah, I think you might be thinking about Parasite.
Oh, no, actually, my bad. Pandemic actually debuted over here. You know how Netflix is different in different countries? So in
Oh, is it?
Korea, yeah, it came out like 1 week before the coronavirus outbreak. It was very eerie. I was like, what's going on with this?
Yes, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Yeah, so in Pandemic, I played an infected person. Then so it just this I guess this infection makes you crazy and everything.
Mhm.
So I run up to an ambulance and I scream at it, and then I'm banging on the windows. So my hair was significantly shorter back then. So and I was on that movie with Shayna Baszler. So
Okay, all right. Now, do you plan on doing more of that, come in the future, or is that just something that you did on the side
yeah, I
real quick?
mean, the reason why I haven't gone too far into it is because if it interferes with my fighting, I don't want to. I don't want to do it.
Mhm.
So I want to be able to devote my time to fighting as much as I can, and then maybe when I retire, then I'll put more time into it. But if it comes, then I'm okay with it. If it doesn't, then I'm okay with it.
Well, if you do decide to do it, man, you at least you have credits. You know what I mean? At least you have some kind of experience
Yeah,
heading
I mean,
into it.
definitely. I mean, once that comes on, then sure, I'm gonna ask for like some credit time. That way, because I know you have to be a part of like a SAG or
Mhm.
AFTRA or whatever the hell it is, and then you get all sorts of cool benefits because you're part of the union, I guess.
Definitely, man. You got to get a part of that union. Now, let's go into Japan. You've been fighting in Japan for many years now. Right now you are currently on a 7 fight winning streak, the longest winning streak of your career so far. What has clicked for you lately where you're performing at such a high level?
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, I couldn't really tell you what any because what I was doing before was the same thing I was doing now. Um, yeah, I guess it's just I became older and more experienced in the ring, and now that I'm there, things are looking up. I've obviously have been fighting really good guys ever
Mhm.
since I first started fighting. Ever since I first started fighting in Japan, I've never taken a step back in competition. Everybody's either been a champion or an ex-champion, or you know, or coming up. So I think all that maybe has just made me step my game up inside the cage or ring.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of the foreign guys when they go to Japan, they get thrown to the lions immediately. For you, you went in there, you survived, you've been successful. A lot of other guys you've probably seen in the past, they get in there and they get thrown to the lions, they're gone within the next couple of years, man. Like, when you see that happening, what is going through your mind, on your side?
Well, when I see other people travel overseas and try to get fights, I it's almost like even when I'm training with them, or if they lose or whatever, I see them trying to make excuses for themselves as to why they didn't win, or why things didn't turn out the way they wanted to. And of course, different cultures have different fighting cultures. Like the American side, we basically we see it and we forget about it right away. The Japanese culture, they don't forget. They don't forget I had my fight with the Ishawatari for Pancras. People still give me props for that fight because it was a great fight. Even though I ended up losing that fight, it was I still get talked to about it. Um, Same with when I fought for the deep belt. I still get talked to about that and asked questions about that because the fans over there, they really respect even if you lose. They respect you if you win. You respect you if you lose, and it shows. When I fought over in Russia, I knew damn well that the first time I fought in Russia, they were throwing me to their top guy. One of their top guys, and I won, and they gave me the classic just a Russian nod of respect, but they didn't really talk to me too much. And then when another guy called me out, and I fought him, and I ended up winning in the first round, same thing. They just kind of gave me a nod of respect, But I went over there just to fight my ass off, and they see that. So you have to, when you go overseas, you have to really understand what kind of fighting culture you're getting into.
And I believe that's why a lot of the fighters, they want to fight in Asia because of that reason. It doesn't matter the result. As long as you go out there and work your ass off and perform well, that's all that matters.
Yeah. Yeah, over in Rizin, they care about the fight. They want you to perform, and they want you to put on a show. Sometimes here in America, it's like they just care about pay-per-view buys. I mean, of course, everybody cares about pay-per-view buys, and because fighting is an entertainment sport first. If you're not entertaining to watch, and nobody's going to watch you fight, then of course nobody's going to want you on their card. It's hard here, even in Southern California. I struggled in my early career because I couldn't sell very many tickets. It was more like, hey, you want to go to my fight? Nah, all right, cool, whatever. I still got to go fight. Because of that, promoters didn't really want to put me on their cards because it was hard for me to sell tickets. All my friends are broke. They were all college students at that time. Now they either got families or they're struggling with other stuff, but it is what it is.
You work yourself up, rise in 18, you make your promotional debut, you choke out Trent Girdham in the third round. Were you surprised by anything from the young prospect?
I was surprised he was there. So in the first round, I hit him with a pretty good shot that I heard made solid connection. And he was still standing up. And I was like, well, I'm in for a good one. I wasn't too surprised because, of course, he's young. He's going to be able to deliver a hit, and he's going to be able to take a hit. I knew that if I just keep pushing and wearing on him, eventually he's gonna either turn it way up or he's gonna turn it way down. So when it finally got to the ground and I got my legs around his neck, that obviously when I finished my Funaki triangle, he had enough of that.
Did the submission come easier than you expected in the third round? It's kind of weird to say that, but did it?
No, not really. I mean, a submission is what it is. As soon as I got my legs wrapped around his neck and shoulder, and I was behind him, I mean, I know he wasn't too comfortable. And then when I started applying the squeeze, I knew it was only a matter of time before he either got choked out or he struggled or something. But I knew it was a matter of time just because of how much time I've been in the ring or been in those situations.
That was last August. How have you been spending your time since then?
Eating mainly, eating, sleeping, working, and then of course training. I keep it real basic. I don't live my life too extreme. Although I would like to. I mean, I want to go skydiving. I want to keep skating and everything. But my coach, Josh Barnett. He's pretty against all those things. I'm like, man, you're killing my vibe, man. Like, dude, I want to do shit, But I gotta prioritize my fighting while I still can.
Yeah, it must be good to have someone like that to kind of look over you and show you the path that you need to go on instead of just being a wild child.
It puts what's the word I'm looking for? It makes you have to live up to a certain standard, because of course everybody thinks, man, like you're lucky you're coached by Josh Barnett, and it's like in one sense, yes, of course I am. In another sense, I earned that. I've often said, oftentimes if your road isn't hard enough to get to quality training, then you really don't value what's being put into you. I came from a very I mean, my first martial art was Taekwondo out of a Parks and Recreation center, you know. So of course I went 2 times a week, and then that was cool for a while. And then I traveled, and then I didn't. By travel, I don't mean like went out of state. I mean I was kicked out of my house, and I started training over in Lake Paris and Moreno Valley, and then started training with these guys that nobody knows about. But then I just eventually kept going because I wanted to learn more and more and more. Then Josh Barnett taught a seminar with one of my old coaches, and then when my old coach stopped teaching, Josh reached out to me, and he said, "Get your ass to CSW" at the time. And I told him, "Hey man, I don't have a job. I just got fired. I'm looking for a job, and I can't make it to CSW." He goes, "Just get your ass there." And I was like, "Okay, you got it." And ever since then, he's been telling me what to do, and I've just been listening. Like for me, I always thought, man, I'm not an anybody, but this guy is gonna tell me what to do, and in my mind, he's telling me how to be great. So I'm gonna fucking do it. Oftentimes, I see him tell people what to do, and they don't do it, as if he doesn't know shit. I'm just like, you guys are crazy. Like he's giving you the plans to success, and you're just looking at it and just going, nah. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Most likely they don't want him, man. Well, now your second trip into the ring for Rizin 21, you're taking on a familiar face, Kanehara. And this is the co-main event. Did you know that it was going to be the co-main?
Yeah. I just maybe like about 15 minutes ago that I'm a co-main event, which means I'm there all night.
Yeah. Is it better for you to just get in there and fight first and then go home and hang out, or do you like kind of being later on?
As a fight fan, yes, because I want to see some fights too, but I can't exactly watch fights as I'm getting ready for my own fight. You know what I'm saying? I want to get in there, I want to do my thing, and I want to watch. I want to be among the crowd and spectate, maybe celebrate here and there, and just watch with people. But it is also pretty cool that I'm a co-main on a Rizin card, because that's a big damn card.
Was he the first name you expected when Rizin came with the offer?
No, it wasn't the first name I expected, but I knew they were going to toss me somebody who was tough, who has experience, who's going to come out for me. I've never expected anybody to toss me a tomato can, or somebody that they thought I was just going to just walk through. This being a major organization, of course they're gonna want tough fights. They're gonna want people that are gonna go out there and put on a show, and me and Kanehara are gonna do that.
2018, you faced Kanehara in a grappling match, quintet. Do you consider this, going into this fight, do you consider it a rematch, or is this something totally different?
This is something totally different. He's gonna be able to punch me in the face. I'm gonna be able to punch him in the face. If this was a grappling match, then it would be a rematch, because now we get to exchange grappling again. But we're going into a completely different animal. The quintet thing was fun. It was a last minute thing, and let's go for it. But this is a fight that I've been training for, just like he's been training for.
Kanehara, he hasn't fought MMA since 2018. Do you believe in that Ringrust stuff, or is it just like it doesn't really matter?
To a certain extent, yes, but not for him. I mean, he's a well seasoned veteran of fighting, and I know that he knows what it takes to get in there and fight. He's trained around the world, and he's fought around the world, and he's been in the UFC, and he knows what it takes to compete at the highest levels. So he's going to be in there. I don't think Ringrust is going to be too much of a issue for him.
What type of fight are you expecting, out of yourself coming up?
Out of myself? I expect from myself to go out there and perform. I want to go out there, move, keep my head moving, keep my feet moving, keep my combos up, and place my knuckles on his face. And if I catch an arm, then take his arm home.
When you look at the bantamweight division, and I look at you, you're ranked in the top 10, I believe. You know what I mean? Like, so when you look at the landscape of Rizin's bantamweight division, where do you put yourself? Do you consider yourself a title contender, or a guy that needs a couple more wins? What do you see?
I definitely see myself as a title contender. I was talking with my striking coach Uchenna, and while we were there the last time for Rizin 18, I was when we were walking behind the stage and everything. I told him, dude, I don't know why. I'm just expecting the upset versus Kyoji and what's his name?
Asakura?
The guy knocked out Kyoji. Yeah, Asakura. I was like, I don't know why. I couldn't tell you why. I don't think there's gonna be some sort of strategy. I have a feeling there's gonna be an upset. And then that upset happened, and I was like, damn, I guess I was right. I actually had that feeling again for this past Saturday for the UFC main event, and I was like, I can see there being an upset, but I can also see it being an ass whooping for John Jones. But obviously judging and everything that kind of went awry. But the bantamweight division is just in Rizin right now is just so crazy. And then of course there's the rumor that was going to be a 32-man tournament in the
Yeah.
bantamweight division. How crazy is that going to be? Because I know they're gonna come and bring in a bunch of Bellator fighters, and and Rizin is co-promoting with Bellator. That's going to be it's going to be very interesting. Who's going to be in the top 10? Who's going to be in the top 5?
When Manel Kape knocked out Kai Asakura on New Year's Eve, did you expect that?
Yeah, I knew one of them was going to go because those guys. That first round was so around the ring with angles and everybody just throwing really hard shots, and somebody was got to go because, again, they were both jumping around so much and throwing such heat. Of course, I knew, okay, one of them was going to get sat, and then one of them was going to have to finish the fight, just boop boop boop. And Manel Kape was the first one to land that finishing shot.
That was
it was a clean one.
Yeah, it was clean, and I when I watched that fight, I watched it a couple times. It's a very emotional fight. Those guys were emotionally charged. It seemed. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did. Well, Manel Kape was an emotional person, anyway. He's gonna go in there. He's gonna go in there with passion, and he's gonna go in there. He's gonna get in your face, and he wants to make it that kind of fight. Asakura, same thing. He goes in there with emotion, and he goes in there with the pride of his country and his own hands. So of course he's going to go in there. They're both very emotional fighters. Not to say it's not a bad thing. That's just the way they fight. And it's got them to this point of their career. So it's obviously a good thing.
Manel Kape, he doesn't have a fight lined up, a title defense lined up. If you think someone's next in line, who do you think's next in line? It doesn't seem like Horiguchi's cleared yet. So who do you think?
Well, I hope it's me. If I get through this fight pretty unscathed and healthy, then I hope it's me. I think Kape and I will put on a great fight. As I know he's going to come at me 100%, and I'm going to come at him 100%.
There's a lot of other fights, the title fight, of course, that's in your sights. There's another fight, personally, me, I would like to see is the rematch with Ishiotari, man. Like, I want to see that. I want to see you take him on again. Is that something that interests you?
Absolutely. If it moves me up, then yes. If it keeps you in the same place, then no. I know that that fight would 100% be fan service at this point, only because I'm coming off a win and he's coming off a loss. So, but then again, if the numbers match and it elevates us both to a new level, then yeah, I'm absolutely interested in it. But again, I'm looking to move forward. I don't want to. I know it was a good fight, and styles make fights, and both of us beat the shit out of each other for 5 rounds. That was a hell of a fight. Obviously that night it wasn't my night, but I ended up going to a magic show that night. My lip was all fat, my eye was all swollen, and his arm was busted, his face was all swollen, and I know both of us had a good night that night.
Deep, Rocky Martinez, he goes back and forth. He fights for Rizin, he fights for Deep. He holds the Megaton title. Yourself, bantamweight title. Are you gonna go back and forth, or are you just focused on Rizin?
Right now I'm just focused on Rizin because of the contract stipulates that I can only fight for them right now. I'm pretty much exclusive for them for another couple fights. So after this contract is done, then of course, I would love to defend my belt. I feel like I defend my belt every time I fight for anybody. As long as I have a belt, MMA math, it would make sense. Like I defended my belt against Trent because if Trent would have beat me, technically he beat the champion of Deep, so technically that's his belt, even though I'm keeping it at home.
All right, man. February 22nd, Rizin 21, Hamamatsu, Japan. Victor Henry's back. Thank you so much, Victor, for the time, and good luck on the fight. And everything and anything that you're doing outside the cage, good luck with that also.
Awesome, man. Thank you. Thank you for your
All
time.
right.